They are reminding us about our old glory, about our glorious past. And I think it won't be an exaggeration to say that if there is any uh, thought process or any culture or any knowledge or whatever, because Veda is a storehouse of the purest form of knowledge in this whole world, then the only place which can actually guide the destiny of the whole world to produce what you say, this mm, prosperity and peace and happiness and all those things, it's only India, I can assure you, and I am so happy that all of you are also working towards that direction. You see, all these years we have been working about it. I am reminded of a number of things. 2002, I was invited to a function in this Indira Gandhi. There was that National Institute of Art. That was a small function, and in fact, the history of that small function is that in 1870 there was a German Indologist who was studying India and the wisdom of ancient India. He came to India. He was traveling throughout the country, and then he went to the Maharaja of Kashmir, and he was with him for a couple of weeks. And he, in his place also, he was studying the ancient wisdom. And he was so thorough, so sincere, so dedicated. They used to have discussions with the Maharaja. Maharaja was also a very talented and very knowledgeable person. So when the Maharaja saw that this German fellow is so sincere about his studies about the Indian culture, civilization, Vedas and everything, so he in fact gave him the Artha Veda that he had with him to that German Indologist in 1870. And the function about which I am talking about in 2002, something like 132 years later, was a function when that Artha Veda, which was taken to Germany by that Indologist, after 132 years of their thorough study of the whole thing, they gracefully came back and returned that to the country. So there are so many instances like this where in fact, people have studied, they have actually endorsed the supremacy and the knowledge. And being an ENT surgeon myself, who has been associated with medicine, I am a doctor of modern medicine. But in spite of that, I have tremendous faith in the supremacy and the power and the strength and the comprehensiveness of Ayurveda, which I have tried to study and go into the details of that. And I have seen that Ayurveda itself has tremendous power to keep the people healthy and you say disease free for almost 100 years. And when I studied the history of Ayurveda, or what you can call it as Hindu medicine in a way, I found that in the 9th century, the Caliph of Baghdad, he got all our knowledge of Ayurveda and the Hindu medicine translated into the Arabic and the Persian languages. And the same knowledge was again translated into the European languages in the 17th century. And all this great knowledge has now come back to us, and it's like explained to us as modern medicine or whatever it is through the route of the Americas. But it is the origin of all this knowledge. If you go into the depth of the whole thing, it is basically in India. I studied that the Hippocrates Oath about which we talk. You see, much before the Hippocrates Oath was given to the whole world for the people of the field of medicine, our people here, whether it was the Shushrut or the Ashwini or the other people, they had talked about the oath where they used to say that the medical people should actually practice with compassion. They should not practice for gaining money or things like that. So most of the things, you go into the depth of what we have actually achieved in the past. All of us know that Edward Jenner was the one man who got the vaccination invented or discovered, invented. But our Vedas will tell you